There you go.
Welcome to another episode of Moving Forward with the Difference Makers. And my name is Pat.
And I'm Brother Love.
Amen. Okay, now today we celebrate Veterans Day, November 11th, 2019. Thank you, Brother Love, for your service.
You're welcome. I'm glad that I was able to do it
And
and
thank
come back in one piece.
and thank you to the other veterans.
You know, people, when you speak about veterans, like, people have no idea. War is a terrible, terrible thing. I don't know if you ever even went through a field and you seen dead bodies and stuff, and it stinks so bad and stuff. And not only that, veterans, they are fighting for their country, not only for their family, because their family is in the country, but they're fighting for your family too. And then for it to come out into the to come get out the army or the Marines or the Navy or Air Force, and then you can't even get a decent job. You can't get your veteran money that you're supposed to get, and then a lot of the veterans, they committed suicide. Like, because the thoughts was just haunting their consciousness. It was too much for them.
Yes.
So we should be honoring Veterans Day. Matter of fact, we should honor it almost
Every day. Every
because
day.
of the fact that tomorrow is not promised to us.
That's right.
And if the way things is going right now, we fighting in different parts of the world right now. I don't have to go into what we're fighting at.
No, we shouldn't.
But
You don't
by
have
the
to.
same token, you know what's going on in the world.
That's right.
And you know that not only is it religious wars, but it's political wars and financial wars. See, somebody want what you got, so they start war with you, so they can take what you got. And if they stronger than you, then they're going to take what you got. That's been a law since the beginning of time. If this man is stronger than this man, then the strongest man, if he's of that type of person, he's going to take that weaker man's stuff.
Well, what war was you in?
Vietnam.
The Vietnam vet.
Yeah, I've been out the army now for 50 years. But that was an experience. I could share with you some of the things that transpired, like when you first.
But you won't.
Oh well, I
Nothing real bad, love.
well, it wasn't nothing good about it.
Oh no, he's not. I'm not going to allow him to tell you all what's happening over there.
Well, I was
that
just going to
war.
mention about the bamboo pole. They set up a thing where we have to go through straight little path, and them bamboo poles are so long and so sharp that they was on through about 9 GIs. They was just hung out there on them poles, on the bamboo poles and stuff.
But that's enough. 'Cause people don't like to hear that, love.
Well,
Okay?
that's one thing. But no, you go ahead on.
I didn't. You know what? When I was at work today, I said, "Well, I'm going to talk about Veterans Day, but I don't want it to be a very unpleasant, because some people can't take all and listen to all that, because they're turned. So now, some people had lost family members over there. They don't want to hear that. Okay, we're going to talk about this. And I wrote this up. I got this from the internet. Okay, Veterans Day. Veterans Day is a federal holiday in the U.S., honoring the military vets on November 11th. Okay. It coincides with other holidays, including Armistice Day and Remembrance Day, that's what it used to be called, which are celebrated in other countries that make the anniversary of the end of World War I. That's when they start celebrating Veterans Day. Major hostilities of World War I were formally ended at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, when the armistice of Germany went in effect. Now, We didn't know that. All the significant, the 11th month, the 11th day, when we knew that, but we didn't know it's the 11th hour. And I just found out today when I, wrote it up. All right, now, like I told you, I read Armistice Day was renamed Veterans Day. But see, overseas, they have Remembrance Day. Okay, the history of the Veteran Day. World War I, known as the Great War, officially ended when the Treaty of Versailles was signed on June 28, 1919, in the Palace of Versailles outside the town of Versailles, France. However, fighting ceased 7 months earlier when an armistice or temporary cessation, that's what it is, cessation or hostilities between the Allied nations and Germany went into effect on the 11th hour. We just read that. Okay. The original concept for the celebration was for a day observed with parades and public meetings, and a brief suspension of business beginning at 11 o'clock a.m. Now let me tell you something. I never seen no parades. Have you ever seen parades for Veterans Day? I know when I was younger and when I lived in Chicago, I think they used to have it down, didn't they? Used to have it in Chicago downtown. But I ain't never seen it up here. Have you?
Maybe they don't honor it up here.
I never seen that one parade of Veterans Day up here. Have you? Because you was here a little longer before me.
I can't.
No, but we remember when we was in Chicago, they had the Veterans Day parade. Yeah. Now, whether they still have it, we don't know. But I remember as a kid, I remember seeing on TV.
On television last night that they were saying that they had a parade honoring veterans. Something that must have been within football games, because every station that had football games had honoring the Veterans Day, and they want you to write a letter in thanking the veterans for their support and for what they did for us during the war. Because a lot of bad things happened during that, and a lot of bad things is happening now.
It is.
Like people is. Them wars are still going on in Syria and Iran and Iraq and all that, and Turkey and all them places. And we are involved because we have invested in each of these countries. Mm-hmm. The United States is everywhere. We're in China, we're in Japan, we're in Russia, and we have to, just like they sent most of the guys home from Syria, but Trump had to leave a couple of hundred over there in order to protect them oil fields that they have over there, because that's one of the major sources of oil that we have.
Right, it's over there. Mm-hmm. Okay. The United States Congress officially recognized the end of World War I when it passed a concurrent resolution on June 4, 1926, with these words. President Wilson, the legislatures of 27 of our states have already declared November 11 to be a legal holiday. Resolved by the Senate that the President of the United States is requesting an issue of proclamation calling the officials to display the flag of U.S. on all government centers on November 11, to observe the day in schools and churches or other suitable places with appropriate ceremonies of friendly relations with all other people. So this is a very special day. A lot of people don't even look at it as a special day. But these young men and young women had to fight for our country, okay? And they don't get enough of the honor, the gratitude that is due to them. And my husband, Brother Lord, just mentioned, there's a lot of them. Well, a lot of them didn't get their monies. And we're not talking about the people that got the, what's the name of when you can't get it? No, dishonorable.
Dishonorable.
We're talking about some people with honorable discharges didn't get their monies, none of their benefits. We're talking about people that served their country but came over here and had to sleep in cars and be homeless because they can't get an apartment, which they should automatically get one, okay? And some of them can't get no jobs, and those are a lot of depressed people right there.
That's the reason they committed all these suicides.
Yeah.
But the more veterans committed suicide in the last 10 years than ever before in history.
Well, they said last month, like 3 weeks ago, that it was up a whole lot, you know, and that's a shame. They made it from overseas, and then they had to come here and kill their
Take
own
their
self.
own life.
Isn't that horrible?
Well, you know, like I kind of blame our government for that, because we elect our officials to go in office to represent us. What they do, they go in there and cut everything that they want to.
Cut their
change-
benefits and stuff, yeah.
Change things the way they want to, but they constantly going up on their salaries.
Of course.
Most of them politicians is making over $65,000 a year. Matter of fact, Barbara Johnson told us that 20 years ago. Well, I don't know nobody who making under 65,000. You don't know no black people then.
That's the city council people. Well, we're
Yeah,
talking about the
but
people
they still
in
government.
U.S. Congress. No telling what they getting.
Hey,
You
man,
see?
you're right. I know they getting megaton bucks. That's the reason they spend so much
She
money.
said
to
that
be
10 years
conversations.
ago when we first came back up here. And maybe they was getting that type. I believe her.
I believe it too.
But you're right. That's not us, right? Okay.
I don't know too many people making over 65,000 a year.
The U.S. Congress officially recognized it. Isn't that something? June 4th, 1926. But look here. I thought the end of World War was 1918. So I guess
No,
they didn't pass
that's
it.
what we hadn't even started in the World War in 1918.
Well, I'll come and say this. Major hostilities of World War I were formally ended at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918. It said formally ended.
No,
Well, maybe that's overseas because it did say Germany. Okay. All right. So now, okay, so 27 states have already declared November 11th to be the legal holiday. But looking at this, and I asked Love, did he remember it? Because I sure don't remember it. President Eisenhower signed H.R. 7786, changed from Armistice Day to Veterans Day on October 8, 1954. We won't remember that. Okay. Because it was the greatest mobilization of soldiers and sailors, Marines, and airmen. And now, see, when World War II came, it was more than that. Okay? And probably Vietnam, it was the most. What you think? I don't know. I got to research that TV land. But I know good and well Vietnam had a lot
we
of
was
soldiers.
in the
And it was a
50s, we
long
was in
time.
the Korean War. Because they had my brother go over there and to demilitarize zone. And Eisenhower was the general then. He wasn't even president yet. When did Eisenhower become president?
I don't know. Probably 1953, I think.
Well,
I have to
know
look
it's
that
in-
up.
I know
I
it's
have
in
to
the
look that
50s.
All right, here we go. Truman, and then it was Eisenhower. So it just say he signed some 1954, but I think it was 53. Well, I don't know. But I have to look it up. But anyway, the Uniform Holiday Bill. Public Law 90-363. 82 Statute 250 signed on June 28, 1968. Intended to ensure 4 holidays on Monday for a long weekend, okay? Washington, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and Columbus Day. Many states didn't agree and continue to celebrate the holidays on the original dates. So back then, they wouldn't even go for it. And June 28, 68, I believe that was still Johnson.
You see 1968?
Yeah. When did Johnson come in?
After Kennedy got
That
killed.
got killed, right. Okay,
That
so
was
now
in
let me see.
63. Johnson, Kennedy got killed in November of 63.
November 22nd, 1963. You're right, I was 10. All right, so Johnson.
Johnson took over after that.
So maybe 68, another president. I'm trying to think who was after Johnson.
Nixon?
In 68,
When you
I think it was
of the
still Johnson.
Watergate thing that took place?
yeah, but that was, all right, so 1975, he ended the Vietnam War. That had to happen right after that. In 77, I think. So I think Johnson was still the president. Okay. Many states didn't agree and continue. Of course, they wanted to celebrate the holiday on the day that they used to celebrate. Like Washington's birthday, what? It's February 22nd. Columbus, October 12th. Veterans, November 11th. And what was the
Lincoln's
other one?
birthday,
And
February
Memorial.
the 12th.
But check this out.
They
They didn't even
changed
mention Lincoln on here.
Mhm.
They said the
put
4
them-
holidays.
Put them together and
Now they did, but back then they did not even honor Lincoln.
called the President's Day.
On this one, love, it says in that, it didn't even honor Lincoln. They got Washington, Memorial Day, and that's really for Veterans Day too. Did you know that? I just found that out this year. I thought it's for everybody, where you can celebrate for your loved ones, but actually that Memorial Day is for veterans. And how I heard about that was on TV, okay?
May the 30th.
And Veterans Day in Columbus. Okay. The first Veterans Day under the new law was observed with much confusion. Now, Brother Love say he don't remember this. I definitely don't remember this. October 25th, 1971. Under the new law, they changed that Veterans Day from November 11th to October 25th, 1971.
Well, I just got out of the Army and I don't remember that.
You
at all.
remember? I don't remember then either. I was just graduated from high school and doing my thing.
Yeah, I bet you were.
I was married and I had, no, I wasn't married then, but I was getting ready to get married. Okay, I was supposed to marry actually in October, November, I married to January, but anyway. On September 20, 1975, President Gerald R. Ford, see, that's why I said after Nixon did that war in, but then Gerald Ford was the vice president and he signed it back to November 11. Public Law 94 to 97, Statute 479, which is still today, November 11. Now, why in the world did the legislature back then change it to October after all those
They
years
was
of celebrating
confused.
November? They weren't confused.
Yes, they was.
How was they confused to turn
The
it back to
devil got
October?
in there.
We already talked about that. Don't even play with me, love. We already talked about the devil don't make you do nothing. You have a free will. You do things because you want to, because you can say no. Okay.
My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling through the vintage where the grapes of wrath store. He has loosed the purple lightning of the cherubim so small. His truth is marching on. Do, 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 do. Glory, glory, hallelujah.
Glory,
This song took us through a lot.
Hallelujah.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. His truth is marching on.
Amen. Beautiful song. And so you know what? We should just, actually you're right, it should be every day. That we never turn our backs, never not forget about what the veterans risked their lives, and a lot of them did lose their lives.
Quite a few.
And a lot of them came back.
Crippled, blind, crazy.
That's right, I was gonna say, And a lot of them came back with the Agent Orange and didn't live long. Okay. And a lot of them came back alcoholics and drug addicts. That's right. Listen, these are young boys that went. 18, 19-year-old kids. Some of them snuck in at 17 because I know one guy was 17, you know. And I'm talking back in the Vietnam days in 1971 and 72, you know. And these are young children. Just think. And a lot of them didn't have no choice. They was
they didn't.
drafted. And thank God that we don't even have that draft today. Because then a lot of other kids will be going, you know. And then some of them are listed, and then some of them relisted, you know, like my husband, you know. But
I was brainwashed.
well, let me tell you, I would never enlisted though. If I can get out that draft, you know, no way, you know. But somebody had to do it, and we want to thank them, you know. And
You're welcome.
'cause love, how many people ever thanked you, love? A few people have in your lifetime, I know.
No, not that many.
No, 'cause people don't even think about that. Look, they
They
think
do.
about everything else. They think about Christmas, right? They think about
Halloween.
Thanksgiving, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know what my brother was telling me the other day? And I forgot all about this day. They celebrate this in Chicago. They don't celebrate this up here. And it's not a lot in Chicago, but I heard of it when I was down there. Sweetest Day. You heard of that?
Say again.
They celebrate Sweetest Day. I heard about
Sweetest.
that. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, sweet.
S-W-E-E-T-E-S-T.
I heard about that when I was down
Sweetest
there.
Day.
That you're supposed to take your girlfriend and boyfriend out to dinner and whatnot. And that's in October. Yeah, isn't that something? Well, they definitely don't do that up here.
Well, see, that's because of the fact that they confused. Anytime you tell the kids that the Easter Bunny brought the eggs and Santa Claus come down the chimney and Columbus wasn't a pirate, you know doggone well he was looking for India. He ended up.
He was in India. He didn't even come over here.
I know. He was looking for India and ended up making the wrong turn somewhere. But I said that to say that
He went to India. I just told you. He thought this was the States.
He thought
He
this
was
was
over
India.
in India. That's right. But he didn't ever make it over here. Go ahead.
but we got to start uneducating ourselves to things that's not real.
But the Easter Bunny, that's just a fallacy. You know that.
Well,
And
just
I don't
like-
think people telling people, I don't know though.
Yeah,
But I don't
just-
think they still
just
telling
like
their
the
kids.
just like Santa Claus. Now,
Well, some people still telling their kids about Santa Claus. I know
yeah, they
that.
talking about, oh, you just so mean. You don't tell them that we Santa Claus to them. That's the
Well,
truth.
then don't tell them. Some people
you tell
kids.
you tell the truth to
Look, look.
kids the truth. You know, like
He
don't
been
have
talking
them-
about this for the last
don't
month.
have them growing up thinking of some fantasy thoughts and stuff. Just like when you should really get next to me, that you lose a tooth. You know, like little teeth.
The tooth
kids
fairy.
used to be like, the tooth fairy gonna give you a quarter. Back then they would give you a dime. When I was coming up,
I still gave my grandbaby a dime. I did it before. I did it to Brian. Yeah, my grandbaby is what, 8? And
Yeah.
I think she was about 3. And I put a shiny dime to my quarter.
No, well,
Under her pillow.
These
And
kids
I
ain't
took
gonna
her
take
tooth.
no shiny dime, no quarter. Now they want some green folding. They want some dollars under there, and they don't want no $1. They want a 5 or a 10 or even a 20 if you got it.
And listen to this, TV Land. Then they got out. Because my 2 grandkids, Tutu, she 12 now, Ryan's 8, so they 4 years apart. And Tutu told Ryan the app, the number. And so Ryan was just talking to somebody and laughing on the phone. And this, a couple of years back, she was about 5 or 4. And I took that phone. I said, who you left talk to? They got out for Santa. And she said, and I listened to it. It said, have you been good? And Ryan said, yeah. And she knows she was bad. He said, okay. And she was missing what she wrote for Christmas and hanging up. They got them apps for the kids to call. Or then here's another app for Mrs. Santa, Mrs. Claus. Uh-huh. So those kids, they just having fun, just talking and whatnot. Now we know there's no such scheme, and for those that told their kids, hats off for them, because I told my kids definitely back in 70 what? Let me see, what year was that? So it had to be 77 that I was the Santa Claus. Not being mean. But my welfare check didn't come until after Christmas. Chicago, it goes by alphabetical order. So my last name was Taylor. So Christmas was what? December 25th. So the checks didn't come like to December 28th. Okay, that's the way it goes down there. I don't know about now, but look how long that's been. So, and I told them, and I said, look, we gonna go to Kmart's, and when the check come, you can put. And they were so happy. Them 3 kids, they went and they was running down the house, putting stuff in the baskets. That's right. That was me telling. So I doubt if a lot of people was telling their kids the truth back then. In the 70s. Okay, I think more of them is telling the kids the truth now, but there are still some kids that believe in it, and their parents will go all the way out.
To be honest with you, they didn't start some Hanukkah or something. They started this some years ago. Hanukkah, instead of saying Christmas, Happy Christmas or Merry Christmas.
Happy Hanukkah. But isn't that the Jewish people?
That's the Jewish people.
Yeah, Happy Hanukkah. They always say that.
Yeah, they've been
Happy
saying
Hanukkah.
it for years. And so, but the Christians, see, that's where the conflict come in. Here you got a Jewish child, but you studying that fat, jolly man come down the
I'll
chimney.
tell you where they got that from, though.
Yeah,
I heard of it.
from the devil.
No. Listen, I'm going to tell you all. In the school books. Now I forget the name of the book, but you can look up on your internet. Over there in Europe, there was a man whose name was Nicholas, and he was black, and his father was rich, so of course he inherited the riches. And his mother and father had passed, and there was a child that was, didn't have much to his parents, and instead of giving that child a gift, he decided to just, throw it through the window. He didn't want to show that he gave it. Now, Nicholas did not do this just for these people to take it out of contracts. And he probably never thought it was going to hit the history books or none of that. Okay, so now these people then turned it around and said it's Santa Claus or St. Nick. See, they copying off of this other guy, That was a real person that didn't do this for this.
They went off
and they
into
turned
some
it
supernatural
around.
stuff. They said that because he comes down the chimney like all over the world. Now they putting them up there with the omnipresent, omniscient.
That's right.
Only God can be all places at one time.
That's right.
Not no Santa Claus, not some man-made fantasy that was nice to them, and so they're gonna make him a saint. That's what they call him Saint Nick.
Because they copying off that man, the Nicholas over there, and then they said he knows when you are asleep, he knows when you awake, he knows when you've been bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. Now listen to this one. That's what you just got to say. He's omnipresent everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. That's what omnipresent means. Omnipotent, all-knowing, omnipotence, all-power. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now they're comparing him with God. And now I think that's an erroneous and a superficial statement for them to compare this fantasy being with the Almighty Creator. And see, we've got to quit lying to our children. Matter of fact, television audience one thing, if you got kids that's just starting out going to high school,
Excuse me, Chief Led. I'm
insist,
tired. I'm sorry.
insist upon the teachers and the principals putting a curriculum in school of political science so they can know what's going on. We used to have what we call world events and stuff, but political science is what they should have been teaching us so that we could go ahead on and run for office if we wanted to run for
Well,
Congress.
you better wait till you go to college. I haven't seen that curriculum in high school yet.
No, I have never seen it in.
I don't think they're gonna do it.
No, not no black schools, but a lot of these white schools they do teach political
You talking about high
science.
school?
Yeah, political science, and then that could be their major when they go to college, political science, and then they sticks with this, and they end up becoming an activist or a lawyer or some type of person that's connected with politics. And so, television audience, if you are under the sound of my voice, listen to what I'm saying carefully. Your children deserve a chance. We may not have gotten a chance because we wasn't taught political science or the things that would make us want to become engineers or scientists or nothing. Matter of fact, all of the heavy stuff was boring to us. Math was boring, science was boring, astronomy was boring, astrology was boring, all of them boring subjects, but these are the same things that make archaeologists, inventors, like you've got to be able to have an open mind and be creative. You can read all the books in the world, but if the Spirit don't give it to you, it's just going in one ear and out the other. Like Patrice is saying, you can't just read, you got to study. Now that's one of the reasons that when Jesus was at the temples, they was so surprised. This little 12-year-old boy, and where he get all this knowledge from? He ain't been in school. He knows stuff that most of us don't even know. And that's when they started recognizing the fact that Jesus was the Son of God, although he didn't really start doing no miracles until he was 30 years old. And the one
It's not really recorded.
Right.
As you know, it's not recorded.
And one of the first miracles that he performed was changing water into wine.
Mm-hmm.
And Mary asked him, she said, well son, we ain't got no wine for the party. We got a party. This is a wedding. And Jesus instructed her to go get a couple of barrels of water. You have your wine.
Oh, yeah.
Now see, back then, in them cultures, they believed in drinking wine and celebrating with one another.
They still do, love.
And here, they talk about, if you have a drink, you sin it.
That's some of the Christians, Jerome. They still drink.
Yeah, but the same ones who looking down their nose at you, they still out there committing all kind of devious sins out there. Fornication,
it sure is.
Adultery, and everything. And see, and they're going to be punished for that.
Well, that's why you cannot pay attention to what people tell you and whatnot.
And
God say he gonna divide the wheat and the tares, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so the goats and the sheep, okay? So you can't pay attention and you know what? I never care what people say. I really don't. You can say what you want. I don't care. I mean, why would I? Why would I care if you try to tell me something to bring me down? You can forget it. I'm the wrong one, and I never cared, okay? Because if something that I'm not doing that's wrong, that's right, don't you think the Holy Ghost going to convict me, and I'm going to change? Okay.
Yeah, well, if you really have been exposed to the Holy Spirit, because see, a lot of people, they disillusion themselves and act like they're the holy and thou, they so pious, and knowing doggone well they doing just as much sin as everybody out there in the world is, and some of them even doing more. Because here you preacher, but yet and still you at the strip club and you at the whorehouse and stuff. Well, they called them brothels back there. Now, if you teach your children not to fornicate, not to commit adultery, then why are you in that brothel? Why are you in that strip club? Why are you having you a drink, a cocktail or two? If you believe in what you're saying, ye hypocrites, you vipers, you going to pay for that. And just like this homosexual thing that got out of hand, you know, like God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. And like a lot of these so-called ministers is up there switching across this pulpit and stuff and making all this sound like they full of the Holy Spirit when they full of crap. But so much for that.
Yep, so much for that.
We're gonna get back to saying a few more things about Veterans Day. You know,
Yeah.
we had some pretty good veterans back there. They don't mention a lot of them. Matter of fact, we had some people. To me, they're veteran, just like Gene Point Baptist DuSable. Now, people don't know he the one who founded Chicago. You know, they had the first fort. I mean, not fort. What you call that? Store up front in the old days.
I don't know, love. Go ahead.
But in any event, he had started that, and just like Martin and what's his name, Lewis and Clark, when they mapped out this whole country and stuff, and they was calling different things, naming them and stuff, and just like the Louisiana Purchase.
But they say some black people was really doing, you know, Lewis and Clark.
Well, they was with Lewis and Clark, but Lewis and Clark was white, I think.
They was white, but some black people really was doing. Let me tell you something. Back then, when I found out why black people wasn't getting the credit for the things that they was doing, because they couldn't get patent. Especially after before slavery,
it's
because
hard
they
to
wasn't.
get a patent now. That's the
Yeah.
reason they took all the what's his name, George Washington Carver. You know, he the one that invented plastic. He invented peanut butter,
And a whole lot of things.
yeah, and they took everything from him. He died a pauper, and just like Joe Louis, like he had Joe Louis Milk Company and stuff. They called him the Brown Bomber.
Yeah, he's from Chicago, right?
Yeah, he on
And-
4319 Michigan, matter of fact.
And then that's where he used to live.
Yeah, that's what Joe Louis is.
Okay,
4319
you didn't
Michigan.
live too far from there. But now let me tell you something. They probably didn't have the gold, or actually yellowish gold, and the red, and with his picture on it, Joe Louis Milk in Minneapolis.
It was on.
But it was in Chicago.
Yeah.
I remember it. I was a little
Joe
girl
Louis
then.
Milk. That's the only milk we
That's
used
right.
to drink. Was
That's
Joe
right.
Louis milk.
But I'm sure they didn't have it up there.
They ain't had. I ain't seen no Joe Louis milk in over 50 years.
Not they don't sell it no more, but I'm just saying we remember back then when we was kids.
Oh yeah.
50 years, longer than that.
Yeah. Well,
You can go 60 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I want to mention this too. Love, while we was talking about these holidays, St. Patrick's Day, remember?
He Irish.
I know it. Chicago really celebrate that.
So
They love,
They
they really
celebrated
love.
here up there on Lake Street. St. All them Irish people up there.
Well, so Chicago really do, because they color part of Lake Michigan green,
Green.
don't they, Jerome?
They put green
Don't
dye.
they, bro, love?
Yeah.
I don't know if they can do the whole lake. I doubt it. But a portion
Well,
that
it
hit
look like
Chicago,
it look like
they
it's all
put
green to me.
green. Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm. They put
At least
them-
they used to. Every year they used to. I don't know if they still do,
Well,
but they probably still do.
I don't know.
And they painted
they
green.
got a woman there and then now, and she's off into some otherness from what I understand.
Okay, so now, what about they want people to wear green for St. Patrick's Day? Irish, don't you remember?
They used to have them pointed hats too, big ears. And
Did
stuff,
they?
And them green tights on and stuff.
Like Peter Pan, huh?
Yep, looked like, just like Peter.
That was in
Pan.
Chicago.
One of them
And
dwarfs.
then I'm gonna tell you another thing. That leprechaun, that's where they come in. And that what
Well,
is it?
leprechaun
Four
come
leaf
from
clover.
Irish.
Uh-huh.
That's Irish, one of the Irish.
Oh, there we go. We talking about fallacies and whatnot, and
Yeah.
but these children is learning,
But they
and
being brainwashed. They brainwash more kids. Now, not only the television brainwashing, you got the internet brainwashing, the iPad brainwashing, the iPod. I mean, they got numbers.
say it then.
You just push a number, and you can even talk to the internet, and they'll tell you whatever you want to know. That's the reason these
That's
kids
serious.
ain't learning nothing. Because of the fact that well, you ain't got to study because the only thing you
I
just
never thought
ask to
about
Google.
that. I never thought about that. You're right.
Well, I know.
Cause sometimes I say I don't do it a lot, maybe 2 or 3 times for real. I usually look it up. Okay, but I wanted to know about the football game for my husband yesterday, and it didn't come on in the afternoon, but I knew it was coming on Sunday, and he kept saying Thursday. I said nope, I heard commercial Sunday, and I had to say Siri, when do the Vikings game play? And they said at what 7:30.
7:28.
And then I say okay, what channel? I don't understand. What station? And it said channel 11. See, now you're right. So children don't really. Now we should. Well, maybe children's not watching this show, because I'm getting ready to say we give them a good idea now. Just saying, you don't even have to look stuff up. Just ask Siri, and it just show. You see how technology is.
Oh, it's just got dangerous.
It's almost like the Jetsons.
Right-
Remember that?
Man right now have the technology to destroy man, to destroy him completely, destroy the whole earth. But before they do that, Father God is going to step in. Jesus is going to come back before man gets so super evil. He's already super evil, but super evil. I'll put it that way. And then he's going to come back and put a stop to this nonsense before man wipes him complete down.
I don't think the man would do it. Let me tell you why.
Man,
Because
the
Christ
devil.
will be back.
Yeah,
That's
he will.
right. I believe the
That's why I
Bible.
said he'll come back.
I don't believe they're going to do it.
Before they
The
do
Bible,
it. But they got these bacterial biological war weapons, and they use chemical war to create this bad weather to mess up your economy and stuff. Just
Wait a minute now. A lot of people don't believe it's them. They believe that God messed with the weather just to, because he tired of people sinning, and so that he messing up the weather. You heard of that before?
Yeah, I've heard some similar thing. But if you ever by what's his name, Kramer, it's called the Surveillance Society.
No, his name not Kramer. It's Jeffrey. It's not Kramer,
Well,
love.
his
I
last
got
name
the
is
book.
Jeffrey.
Jeffries. I forgot. It'll come to me. Go
Yeah,
ahead. We talked about it over and over on our TV show about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and
How they was controlling the weather and stuff.
weather-
It was on
right down there
in like Flint. Remember that
in
picture?
Dakota, they got these weather
North Dakota,
stations.
Alaska.
And
Now
they
they're
got 'em
telling
in
how many
Russia.
now.
They got 'em in-
Look. That book was first made in 1997. Then remade in 2001. So no telling where else. It might be in every state. All we can know. Look how old it is. Grant E. Jeffries. That's the name of Surveillance Society. Surveillance Society, and they tell you about different things that was happening, and they tell you about the weather weapons.
And they tell you about and what's his name, Kissinger, 1939. They had to think that they was getting together to depopularize, like it was an explosion population, and they knew it was getting ready to jump off because baby boomers was getting ready to come. Do you know there's more baby boomers that was born than
Ever before we still living too.
And we still
Than
here.
ever.
I mean, and the baby boomers, they had a lot to do with the way this our society is now. Because back then we had the hippies, and they the first ones who were speaking that love song. Hey, soul brother, hit this joint with me. No, they called them spliffs back then.
Spliffs.
They like they got that word from the Jamaicans because they used to use corn husks to roll up them big old spliffs. And you couldn't take number 1 to 2 pulls. And
You
then
be out, huh?
You be out, completely out.
What about when the natives, the Indians used? Probably was stronger than that.
They used what they call local weed.
Loco, yeah.
Local weed. And then if your horse got, and ended up chewing some of the stuff, he bucked you behind off his back. Okay, I think it's
Okay, so TV land, yeah, I think we got a few more minutes and then we got to go. Now, listen, have you ever rode a horse, TV land? I did twice, and guess what? I was scared each time. Because you know what? I'm thinking that this is nice. You know, like you look at the cowboy picture,
well, they
and it
used
looks
to.
so
They been
nice.
riding
That's
all day
right.
long.
That's right.
Shoot, you
But
gonna
TV
get-
land, you should go on one at least one time. Yeah.
Well, I only been on one time TV land, and I'm 71 years old. I ain't going on it no more.
No, I'm not either. See,
I
you're
was
not
teaching
used to.
school back then.
But I want to say one more thing before we hang up, before we leave out of here. And you can see I'm tired of TV land. TV land, excuse me. But, you know what? Getting back with those people, we got to be on target. We got to study more about things that are very important.
Yeah, we should be.
A lot of people don't want to hear it. They get mad when you try to have a normal,
They think you
intelligent
chastised.
conversation with them. You know, You can keep on walking with your head in the sand, or you can wake up to realization and see what's going on, okay? And you know that you have to not give up and have your faith in God.
And don't let people influence your decisions.
That's right.
Especially when it comes to spiritualism, on spiritual things. Because right now, we're in a spiritual war right now.
That's what we are right now.
And whether you want to believe it or not, like our back's up against the wall. Because of the fact that we just doing so much sin and we don't even care no more. And see, and because we don't care, because of a lackadaisical attitude, we are experiencing certain things that we shouldn't be experiencing. Just like people blowing up synagogues and 2-3 churches, killing up all these people. That's the devil. God don't do no stuff like that.
That's right. And then, you know what? And here it is. I'm going to say this and we're going to close on out. Because I had forgot my train of thought. Going back to the weather. Now it's supposed to be, it's cold up here. And this morning when I went to work, it was 12 degrees and wind chill at 7. Wind chill was -3. Now look. Now they said that's going to be cold.
Tonight is going to be really cold.
Like 20 degrees in Florida. 20 in Texas, all that when it's warm. Yeah. Okay. But people would say this stupid statement. Well, God is sick of all the sinners, so he gonna mess up. You can't tell the winter from the summer. He gonna mess everything. Why in the world would God have to play those mind games like that? I mean, you just tell me, what glory do God get out of people freezing to death? Okay, because some people are homeless. Getting ill, bringing hurricanes and tornadoes, tearing it up. And people have nowhere to live, drowning in the hurricanes. What glory do he get about messing up the weather so you can suffer? None. That's the act of the devil. Here to kill, steal, and destroy. No more than people say, well, the person was living in sin or was doing bad things, and then he got afflicted with a cancer, God don't play those games. He come to give you life more abundantly, which is on the spiritual realm, on the physical too. So stop saying, because, all right, you hear this often.
The devil made me do it.
No, they will say this. The hurricanes come in Houston, especially New Orleans, because the people practice voodoo. No, that's not why. If that's the case, it's everywhere. Why just there? Oh yeah, well that's why Haiti got struck 3 or 4 times because he practiced voodoo. Well, that's not right. Cause well, how come we don't never hear nothing bad about Africa? We don't hear no hurricanes over there. Actually, that water comes from the Atlantic Ocean, near there, over here. Okay. So stop saying that, well, that's why God let that happen. No, it's unfortunate that people have to die or, drown or lose their families, lose their homes. But I don't believe that have anything to God, because if that's the case, we all will get it. Because all of us is doing something that we shouldn't be doing. Now, if you think that you're perfect, okay. Well, you lied to yourself right there. So now, stop saying that he messed the weather up. That's God. It's not God. Okay. And stop saying that somebody got ill so that they could get God's attention. Now God can get their attention. No, because he already know what you're going to do in there. And on that case, we get ready to go. And happy Veterans Day. And God bless you. And we should celebrate this every day. Every day.
Wait on the Lord and be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say on the Lord.
And call us, Patton, Brother Little, 763-703-0546, 763-703-0546, and power
To the people.
people. What's that?
Right on.
Okay.